ceded to any other country. That's President Uhuru Kenyatta, and he's just reiterating a point that has been made by pundits. And obviously, this is definitely a diplomatic standoff between Kenya and Somalia after that ICJ verdict. My guest tonight on NEWSHOUR is Wilson Sossion, nominated Member of Parliament, special because he's representing the workers in the National Assembly. Thank you, SG, for coming. I still call you SG, by the way, and it won't
thank
change.
you. The title.
I'll just call you SG. Yeah. SG, your reflections on the ICJ case, the fact that they're saying that there's a section, actually, if you look at the ruling, they sort of divided that disputed boundary between Kenya and Somalia. But Kenya is saying, no, we are not ceding even a ground for, even an inch, sorry, for Somalia.
You know, it's very interesting that a continent that is sovereign and boundaries are delimited, and they were delimited even at the point of independence, that you have to go back again to Europe to look for Europeans to come and resolve our borders and disputes. The question is, what was the original boundary of between Kenya and Somalia within the ocean? Okay. And was it necessary to go again to Europe to seek for guidance for us to really get the boundary? That is why this issue may not be easily resolved if the two nations continue maintaining a standoff. And I get back to what President Moore used to say, that African problems shall be solved by Africans. Okay. And I want to believe that squarely this is a regional issue, it's not global. And it is a matter, that the AU can handle, I want to believe. If it is not the AU, it's the regional leadership within the East African community or IGAD. Because as Africa, we must domesticate our issues and increase our capacity to resolve our issues. We want to open up Africa to be a borderless continent.
But we won't do it if we still have boundaries.
To remove the boundaries, that there can be free movement, free infrastructure, because Africa is lagging behind in many aspects, even up to economic development, because of the subdivision and the barriers that are created.
But a territory, and sovereign nation needs a
territorial contest between Somalia and Kenya within the ocean should not arise in a situation where there is proper African organization and relationship within the continent, and even a very progressive agenda within the continent. This is a matter to be settled at the AU and even at the East African community. But we cannot go to Europe to look for solutions of our own region.
One of the pundits actually said that African problems, apart from them just being sorted in Africa, you cannot run African countries, sovereign nations, with international bodies. And
it is wrong. We can't do that. We can't do that. We must run Africa within Africa and open our borders and strengthen cooperation. And we should refrain ourselves from putting our countries in unnecessary conflict. There must be progress for the continent.
Well said. Let's come back home literally to our discussion for today. And something happened this week, SG. You have been seen as a very strong ODM supporter, including supporting its agenda in Parliament. ODM nominated you. But early in the week, we saw you with the Deputy President, William Ruto, and all signs clear, based on what you said, based on how you described his agenda, you have moved to UDA while you're still a nominated Member of Parliament on ODM.
I think I've got to tell Kenyans and everyone the truth about our country. We have what we call Vision 2030. And the political pillar of Vision 2030 is that we must transform our politics in this country from what it has been to issue-based politics. And so, where we are at the moment, we are preparing for 2022 general elections. And as we prepare for 2022 general elections, there are practical and realistic decisions that Kenyans will be making. I'm also a Kenyan, and I ought to enjoy the provisions of Article 38 of the Constitution, right to believe in political parties, beliefs, aspirations, and therefore the issue of my desire to contest to be a senator of Bomet should really not attract a lot of attention, should not invite a lot of questions. I signed a memorandum of agreement with the Orange Democratic Movement and as a live member prior to the elections of 2017, and we have a manifesto that lasts 2017 to 2022 electioneering period, of which I am nominated. And I am in ODM at the National Assembly for the period of 2017-2022. And there have been a lot of political developments in the country. And that is where issues must drive us and circumstances change. And you look at the scenario of 2022. As it is at the moment, I have left labor movement. That's the truth. And that was the platform for which I was nominated to the Orange Democratic Movement, of which I am forever grateful to the party leader. I am forever grateful to the party itself. And moving into 2022, I am a resident of Bomet County. And I vote in Bomet County. And the people of Bomet have always had a desire to elect me to any elective position. But I've always declined on the basis that I've been committed to the teacher's cause as the Secretary General.
I need to tell you,
when Kipkale Kones died in 2010, they wanted to elect me, but I had to decline.
Because
in 2013, in the general elections, they wanted to elect me, but I had to decline. Because and 2017,
I get your point,
and so moving into 2022, the people of Bomet, they've made it very clear.
Who have been desirous in electing you the two occasions,
Yes, they've made it very, very clear that they must elect me in 2022.
And that's the reason why. And that's the reason.
And because they must elect me in 2022. All these elective positions belong to the people.
They choose.
They don't belong to us as individuals.
Very interesting. You have said something, SG. 2013, right? After Kipkali Kones plane accident, 2013, they wanted to elect you, but you're committed. You are electable in Bomet. That's what you're saying. The people desire to elect you. Why then do you move parties? Because this is seen as a populist move, because...
No, I've not moved parties. Because when you move parties, it means you resign from your current party.
So you haven't resigned from ODM?
Joined. I've not resigned.
You've not resigned from ODM?
I've shown intentions of contesting the senatorial seat of Bomet through a party that the people of Bomet have advised me to do. And that is exactly what I will do. So
which means if you don't change, if you don't contest it...
Fundamentally, and you know, there are laws in this country about moving from one party to another.
Just and the
timelines, and so we must prepare in advance. And since...
But you're electable. Why don't you just go on ODM? You're electable. Twice they've expressed that.
No, let us be very practical and be very honest. I want to see somebody who will be elected in Kisumu or in Homa Bay or in Siaya or in United Democratic Alliance or any other party. It is not practical.
Olaga Lodge has been elected in Kisumu.
No,
it wasn't ODM.
Those aside, we cannot bring those localized other challenges where certain parties have struggled and gone against the grain and quite succeeded. I am a national leader of respectable stature. And I am nominated by ODM for the period 2017-2022. And this development from Bomet must be appreciated by Kenyans. That the people of Bomet, they are telling me, you are our son.
Okay.
Come, we elect you.
On UDA specifically.
And we shall elect you on a specific party.
So this is strategic for you,
and,
this is strategic for you.
It's not just strategic. It's not about me. I would have as well been elected in Nairobi or elsewhere.
No, what I mean is strategic for you is if you don't do what the electorate want, if you don't do it,
what they want.
If you don't do what they want, you will not be elected. That's
no,
clear.
They will not elect you.
They will not elect you.
Definitely.
So this is strategic that you're moving.
And therefore, I'm giving you the simplistic origin of this particular matter.
Yes.
The people of Bomet have requested me to accept to be their senator.
Which is okay, and sorted.
That is one.
Sorted.
Agreed, sorted.
Yes.
Step number 2.
On what party?
The people of Bomet have decided on which party I should run.
Okay.
And they're clear about it.
UDA, number 3. Okay.
Yeah, UDA.
Okay.
And
sorted SD,
I have
not
considered,
in dispute. Yes.
And I have considered those proposals.
Yeah.
And I've consulted far and wide. And I've come to a firm reconciliation with that proposal.
Yeah.
And I've done sufficient soul searching, and I've looked at the aspirations of the people and their legitimate expectations and wishes about having me to serve them, and I have submitted to their wishes.
Acceded to their wishes.
I have submitted,
all right.
and I've acceded fully, and that is the party
sorted,
I will
sorted.
run on.
Not in dispute, and I'm not going to talk about that, but there must be leaders in this country, as you've described yourself, who believe in a particular ideology. I just don't think, just because you want to get elected, regardless of what political party, you must have believed in ODM to support. You must believe in UDA. What is this you believe in UDA? Apart from just the fact that you've stated, for you to be elected, you have to be in UDA. What is it that you believe in? That suddenly ODM doesn't have?
All people have aspirations. All people have aspirations. Even as they pursue those aspirations, through political parties, they have philosophies. And the aspirations of the Orange Democratic Movement is a very strong political movement that has stood the test of time and has promoted democracy and human rights. And it's a party that's heavily respected in this country. The United Democratic Alliance is a new party with also a very firm agenda in promoting the social democracy, equality, and human rights, and it's quite a befitting philosophy. In fact, Ken, when I look at UDA, I had to soul search: is this a party that would accommodate my ideals, what I believe in, and what I've done over the years? It is United Democratic Party. Therefore, it's a party that upholds the rule, the democracy and human rights.
Which ODM does too.
Which also ODM does.
Yes.
So those are basically the same philosophies. And I think that is why, as we talk of Vision 2030, politics being issue-based.
Okay.
Let's look at what the parties.
I want to talk about issues.
Let's look at what the parties.
Yes. I want to talk about issues. Just one more question.
Let's look at what the parties are coming with, and so I've done enough diagnostic analysis of the political philosophy and belief of United Democratic Alliance, and it sits very well with my beliefs, and I am absolutely very much at home with its philosophy and with its objectives, and
the vision
if you look at And this is what Kenyans should understand, the economic model of what you call bottom up.
I'll talk about issues if you allow me. I'll talk about issues if you allow me.
And by the way, when you look at the bottom up economy,
I'll talk about the issues.
It is strongly the philosophy of labor unions all over the world, because it means focusing on the bottom strata of the society. And when you look at the United States of America, like the Democratic Party, and what Joe Biden was talking about was that we must appreciate the middle class. The U.S. economy was built by the middle class, and they must strongly adopt and support the bottom-up, middle-out economic model. That means you lay more emphasis in social and economic equity between the bottom and the top class.
Good enough.
And I think
when
you look at the model of the United Democratic Alliance, because there have been political arguments, and for me, I don't buy political arguments. I buy realities of beliefs of various parties. And bottom-up economic model is not a model that is made in Kenya. It is in the US with the Democrats. It is in the UK with the Labour Party. It is in Germany with the Social Democrats. And I've had a chance to work with the Social Democratic Party of Germany and worked with the institutions in Germany.
You will allow me to ask this question now.
Any sensible political party,
will allow me to ask
any sensible political party must strive to ensure that there is social and economic equality.
Which is okay. I agree with what you're saying, but I just want to understand Wilson Sossion and what is behind this drive. One, you have made it clear that there has been a desire to be voted. Second, you made it clear that the voters have given you that as an ultimatum. It's only in UDA. But the most interesting thing when you talk about...
It's not an ultimatum, it is a
condition?
An advisory.
Advisory or a condition?
No.
Just advisory. Then advisory is an advisory. But I want to look at the other party. You've agreed that Democratic Party, ODM, has democratic ideals in it. So is UDA. But if you talk about the issue of economic model, look at which party. ANC talks about economic model and how to bring money to the ground. ODM talks about the same thing. UDA talks about it. I don't think that should be a distinguishing feature when you make this decision as Wilson said.
Yeah, Ken, let me take you through, and I'll be very, very simplistic.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, political parties, they come up with different formats, but at the end of the day, it is one and the same thing. And I will take you through memory lane very quickly. In 2002, trade unions in this country came together and implored upon the opposition leaders to unite and produce one candidate. I was in KNUT National Executive Council, and I participated in that political cause. And Kibaki promised us quite a number of things. That one, he was going to ensure prudent collection of taxes in this country. And that after prudent collection, he was going to ensure that he was going to seal loopholes of corruption. And after doing that, he was going to ensure that there was free education from primary 1 to primary 8. And that is exactly what he did, to roll out free primary education within 90 days. And what it meant is that the entire households in Kenya were offloaded of the cost of education. That indeed is bottom-up. It is bottom-up economic model. It has been operating, but only in different ways, in different approaches, and people are giving it different definitions. And Kibaki also brought in the issue of CDF, that from the taxes, instead of forcing Kenyans to do fundraisings, to build schools, to build health facilities, would rather collect the taxes and give a vote for constituency development fund that will go into this. And over time, CDF has done a fantastic job, and the fundraisings have been offloaded. And you see, when you direct resources to the very basic services and the needs of the common people, that really is what you call bottom-up economic model.
I feel you're running away from my question.
And when Kibaki also promoted the small, medium enterprises at the community level, like, for example, when free education was rolled out, the bookshops were promoted at the community level. And that is where learning resources were procured. And the other aspect is the border is a huge industry now. It's one of the many small, medium, microeconomic enterprises. And when the Constitution of Kenya 2010 was enacted and devolution brought in and functions assigned to the county government, and that many activities like, for example, water, roads, agriculture, and health is devolved, and money voted to the county government, that is actually building that bottom-up economic
you're running away from my
model.
question. You are explaining this,
I'm not
but
running away.
Just a simple question about the parties, because I just want to understand, SG. The movement, we have to build this country based on beliefs and trust. If you believe in particular idea, you hold strong to it. I'm just wondering, all these other parties, and I'll go back to the center. The center is you're just going to UDA because you think you're more electable in UDA than any other party. ANC, I've told you, talks about money, what you're explaining. Wiper talks about the same thing. ODM talks about the same. UDA talks about the only reason you're going to UDA
let's go to the
is because you believe that's the only way you'll be elected.
Let's look at the trend of political parties in this country. We started this country with KNUT. Where is KNUT now? It's vanished.
It's still here.
It vanished in 2002. After 2002, we had NAC. NAC did not last
National
3 years.
Labour Coalition.
It did not last 3 years. By 2005, it was gone, and the ODM was born. And in fact, Kibaki had no vehicle to go for re-election in 2007, and he had to create another party called
NAC was
KNU.
a coalition. NAC was a coalition.
KNU.
Yeah. It wasn't a political party.
Let's be practical.
Yeah.
Kibaki was elected in 2002 under NAC.
NAC, yes.
And was re-elected in 2007 under PNU.
Yes, 27 parties.
And by 2013,
yes,
there was no PNU.
Yes.
And so if we talk about stability of parties in Kenya, we are going through what I would call isostatic readjustment of political parties. The political parties we have in this country, they have not stabilized, and we've not evolved to the level of strong democracies like the US, where you have only 2 political parties that conduct thorough primaries with a thorough process and with a strong framework. We still have political parties that sometimes are rooted to certain geographical parts of this country.
Most of the time.
That is the truth.
That is most of the time.
That is the truth.
Most of the time.
Most of the time,
yes.
And let me tell you.
Is that one of the reasons why?
Let me tell you.
Is that one of the reasons why?
It's
a fundamental fact.
As a Secretary General of NUT,
yes,
we would always advise our leaders that gun for political seats through the political parties that are popular in your region.
Exactly.
That is a very compelling
So you've answered my question. That is the reason.
So it goes without saying.
Yeah.
Even if you love another party, but that party is not popular within your region, there is little that we can do. And it's not only a phenomenon that is common in Kenya. Even in the US, there's what we call the red states and the blue states. That means there are states that are traditionally pro-democratic.
Good enough, SG.
Traditionally pro-Republican.
Good enough, SG.
And so that goes without saying. Even moving into the elections of 2022, I want to see someone who is going to be elected on UDA within the ODM belt.
It's possible. It's possible. Olaga Lodge, Ochieng has been elected, Okoto Bado. There are several MCAs who have been elected in parties that are not ODM.
Other parties that are not necessarily ODM, but they are not related to other strong parties. That
Ford Kenya is very strong. Ford Kenya is very strong in that region. David Ochieng came with an nondescript party and won. Okoth Obado with PDP won in the first election. So you can't dismiss that there will be a UDA member who will run.
However much we argue.
Even today, the deputy president had people
however much we argue in that manner, the truth is the major political parties in this country are domiciled and resident in certain parts of the country. That's the truth.
Should that be the standard, SG? Should that be the standard of why you want to go to parliament?
No. It is
just because it's this party that is domiciled and in this region is strong, SG.
And I think, Ken, you are trying to really...
No, it's your party. I'm talking about ODM. I am not an ODM member. You are an ODM member. I'm just talking about your party plus the party you want to run.
The truth of the matter, in 2007, ODM was very popular in Rift Valley. And literally everybody was
elected then,
through ODM. And politics changed. Other parties have come up and have taken over. And if I have to be elected in Bomet, in Bomet, which is 90-something% UDA. I think logically,
you have to be in UDA. I have not disputed that.
Logically, I will be a madman
to go with another party. I have not disputed that, SG.
Work.
My concern is this: as the leader you describe yourself
let us
to be,
go back.
As the leader you describe yourself to be,
let us go back.
If you're sure of being elected in Bomet, you can go even with the smallest. You can go with PEP and get elected because they want to elect you. They want to elect you. They don't want to elect the party.
But you see, decisions here, the power belongs to the people. This is about democracy.
Very true.
It is all about democracy.
Very true.
The power belongs to the people.
You are an electable leader.
And I can tell you my personal conversation with my people. I am not an ordinary villager in Bomet. I am not. And the people of Bomet are politically conscious. They are informed. They are aware of all the political parties that exist in the country. And indeed, when they approached me, they were very clear about what they wanted of me. That one, they wanted me to be the senator.
Which is sorted.
No doubt.
Good enough.
Two,
it has
they've
to be.
given me a political party.
UDA.
Three, I've taken time to decide.
Yourself, think about it.
And I've accepted.
And you've accepted it.
And that chapter is closed.
Okay.
And so I'm moving into 2022, contesting in Bomet the seat of Senate as required by as requested by the people of Bomet through the United Democratic Alliance.
9 months to the election. 9 months to the election. SG, leave ODM. Just leave ODM and start campaigning. It's 9 months to the election. And instead of going to a UDA rally, just leave ODM. Just leave ODM.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you. Political parties have been registered and they're being popularized. For example, United Democratic Alliance. Majority of the members are still members of Jubilee. In the National Assembly. That doesn't, and they've not resigned from Jubilee. I've also neither resigned from ODM.
What if they do what they did to Isaac Mwaura? What Jubilee Jap did to Isaac Mwaura? He was a nominated special member of parliament. He was nominated. What if they did that to you, Wilson Sossion? What if ODM took you to the disciplinary committee on Monday and said, you know, you're supporting the ideals of the other party, you have been nominated. I mean, 9 months is sufficient to get someone who was second in line, and ODM will prop them there so that
I am not here to discuss what ODM may be feeling about my interest in 2022, and I cannot divulge how I'm engaging my party internally, which I am. I'm a respectable member of the party, and I cannot undertake activities that are very detrimental to the party without developing indeed the necessary understanding. And that's why I said we must develop, we must respect issues. We must develop issue-based politics, but not animalistic, when somebody things in a certain direction, then you must bring in the hammer of discipline and begin disciplining. We are going into elections in 2022, and there is a window of transfer. And if people want to move from one party to another party,
it's okay.
They can do so.
It's okay. It's not in dispute.
And I am not a hypocrite. As per October 2021, I have been approached by the people of Bomet, and it is public knowledge. It's common knowledge. And they've requested me to contest the Senate seat. And it is not news to my party, ODM.
Okay.
It is not news.
It's not news.
They know that request has come up, and it's a good request. And ODM gave me the best opportunity, and I'm not at war with my party, and I've not violated any rule.
No, you have violated a rule.
And I am on duty.
You have violated a rule.
No, according to you.
No, by the constitution of ODM, by supporting the ideals of another party, you have violated the basic rule of being in a political party.
That is according to you.
It's not according to me. Even you know. Even you know.
I have developed intentions, and I have accepted intentions
and
with respect to 2022 to contest, and I've been requested by the people of Bomet, and I have accepted.
Right.
That does not amount to violation. It doesn't amount to violation.
When you stood at the podium and said that you support Deputy President William Ruto because you believe that he can change this country, when you said that you supported the ideals of UDA, you did.
Yes, I support the ideals of
you have
UDA.
Violated
that is my next party.
You have violated the constitution of ODM already by that statement.
I have not.
All right, let's move on.
And I think it is good, even in football, at the end of each season, in a football Premier League,
there must be transfer.
There must be transfers.
Which is not
and when there are transfers,
I agree with you.
And when there are transfers, if you want to sell the most expensive players, the other club will pay the originating club.
Okay.
So in fact, I would encourage here the UDA to pay transfer fee
from ODM.
to the ODM.
What a way of putting it.
And I think we should look at our politics.
The fact that
we should look at our politics positively.
Yes,
we should.
We should,
because when you look at the political leaders in this country, they've moved. Most of them, they moved from KNUT to ODM, from ODM to other parties, others to Jubilee, and then they've moved to other parties, and that has not brought any bad relations
at the end of the election cycle.
Look at it, for example, because we must look at Vision 2030, transforming our politics to issue-based.
In fact, you said practical, realistic, and that circumstances have changed. Realistic, you've said that. Circumstances have changed totally.
And you have to choose.
Yes.
If your soul if your belief sits well with a particular party, then you prepare yourself.
Why couldn't you wait for March next year when they're doing primaries?
Even when you look at the US, there are politicians who shift from Republican to Democratic, and from Democratic to Republican. That is what you call sovereign rights of the people.
But they
I must enjoy my right.
They resign
as provided
and
for in the Constitution.
They resign and
by the way, I'm one of the few honest Kenyans. I've given intentions. I don't need.
They're just intentions. Okay.
I don't need to sit and hide like a con man and wait up to February.
And then you come out.
Then I ambush people in the morning. That here I am. I have done it well.
Would you still appear with ODM leaders right now? Would you appear with them because you're still in ODM?
No problem.
You would still appear with them? Like Raila Odinga?
I'm on duty.
Yes.
I'm on duty.
For ODM?
Yes, I'm on duty. I'm a member of parliament.
Okay.
For ODM.
Okay.
In parliament. That's the truth. And I'm loyal to the party for this period that I am nominated. And if so directed by the party leader on what to do, I will do. I think we've got to be civilized the way we do things.
It's just an intention. I think you've clarified, SG. It's an intention.
It's an intention.
We have really discussed this.
And that intention is irrevocable.
Irrevocable.
It is irrevocable.
Okay.
I've been talked to by the people of Bomet. And you know what they told me? Go and get permission from the party leader. Don't walk away from the party like a thief. That is the people of Bomet. And they knew this is a respectable leader who works with the Baba. Go and ask for permission. I don't want to divulge
what you discussed with Baba.
Beyond that,
okay.
What I've discussed. So I'm in extremely good books with my party.
ODM. Okay.
I have no issue.
It's good. There's no ideological differences right now. It's just that circumstances have changed. It's a realistic move right now.
And
yes,
once I move to the other party as required by the people, I will subscribe to that party. Absolutely. That is what discipline really is all about. Once you're a member of a party, you subscribe to that party. To the ideals of that party.
So you still
the aspirations of the people.
You believe in those ideals, and it's not a difference.
And by the way, by the end of the day, when there was handshake, what did we see? The manifestos of NASA and the manifestos of Jubilee were collapsed.
They all look the same, Mr. These manifestos all look the same at the end of the day.
They were fundamentally, let us be honest, Chungu. When there was handshake and when the analysis were done on the two manifestos, the leaders agreed that most aspects of the manifesto were identical and similar. So by the end of the day, it is all about contest. All these others are political arguments.
Yes.
But in terms of the substance of the issues, they are almost basically the same.
So I want to read for you two reactions. One is from Nick Salat, who says that you should be reminded that KNUT has stood the test of time. The second one is from your friend, a person who claims to be your friend, Herman Manyora. And Herman Manyora says this. He was on the show yesterday. I just lost the comment. I wish I would get the comment. But anyway, as I look for the comment, it's... He basically thinks that you're dishonest with the reason why you are moving to UDA. But we have discussed that. So if you look at the parties that have stood the test of time, is your party, for example, ODM since 2005, I think is one of the strongest movements around. And it's good the way you say that you still ascribe to the ideologies. SG, we have about 15 minutes on the clock, and I have to ask you this question. The reason why you went to Parliament, and you were beaten almost to pulp with politicians about this, that you supported ODM and you are a trade unionist. Then you said, I'm going to represent the ideology of the trade unionist in Parliament. What is interesting with that right now is the KNUT as we used to know it, SG, is not what you left. In fact, after you left, you remember you came to my show and we discussed about it and you wished them well. But looking at how this institution has been dogged with every challenge, parents are crying all over, they are going to court about the things you complained about. Now that you sit here once again, just a few months after you left, what is your reflection on this particular institution?
Even before we get into that, the comment by Nick Salat, it's good we become empirical and scientific. KNUT is no longer the ruling party. That's a fact. KNUT's ruling party ended its time in 2002 through the popular revolution of NAC, and things have never been the same. And in every election, there is a new ruling party. That is the political reality, and we really don't need to discuss that. It's a fact for sure. And then coming into the issues of labor and teachers, the truth of the matter is that the government emasculated unions in the teaching service. That's a fact, for example. Nothing much has changed. And we've seen, after I resigned, and the things I stood against, they have since been implemented. Number one, unions were coerced to sign an empty CBA without monetary base. There has never been any CBA anywhere in the world that is negotiated and signed that contains zero salary offer.
And that happened.
That was not fair to teachers, when in fact the Salaries and Remuneration Commission had recommended 33 billion shillings for teachers to the Treasury. Number two, the unions were also coerced to change their recognition agreements. that prohibit the right of union leaders to engage in activities during working hours and in workplaces. And then the question begs, where else are they working? Because they're supposed to be engaging and arbitrating trade issues and executing their mandate within the industry, which is within the schools. And there are so many variations that have been brought. And the court cases where the employer lost, the unions were coerced to vacate. And by vacating, the policies, the punitive policies that teachers were extremely uncomfortable about have since been implemented. And you all know the teachers of this country are also implementing a curriculum that remains completely very unpopular. They're not prepared, they do not understand. And therefore, the professional freedom, in summary, of teachers has been taken away. And any government that would like to deliver on quality education, they must promote the democracy and freedom of teachers so that they can voice their concerns. And those concerns must be addressed. When that is done, then the country will be prepared to deliver on quality education. And what I will say in this show and tell the unions in the teaching service is that they must team up together, go into a retreat, and do a SWOT analysis of the situation, because this is in the best interest of the country. Okay. And probably consider amalgamating the unions so that they come up with one strong central voice. That is what unions are doing in Europe. Is that not what KNUT is doing for them? In the UK, no, it's upon the existing unions within that trade to take that direction. They should refrain from worshipping money and resources and consider the wider interest of teachers. Like what has happened in the UK, two strong unions have come together, and in the US, they are permanently threatened, and their survival is sustaining very, very strong unions. Okay. And many unions have been amalgamated. So what we are witnessing in Kenya is not anything new. It's happening in the first world. And so the teachers and workers should not lose heart. The only salvation is to come together. But the creation of so many unions representing the different quarters, the different interests, the teachers with disabilities. Tomorrow you'll have a union representing women teachers. The next day you'll have a union representing chemistry teachers and all those others. That is splinterism and division, which is very bad in Africa. Okay. So my experience and my advice is that for this to be corrected, there is no other way except the unions to collapse themselves and amalgamate into one strong voice. You worked for teachers. So the ball is in the court of teachers.
Oh, teachers. You worked for teachers when President Mwai Kibaki was at the helm. There were so many also questions around teachers, and we saw how the union officials at that time helped. But you see, Kibaki as a person strongly respected the union, democracy, and human rights. Okay. And respected the activities of teachers and the right to organize. In every strike action that was taken, Kibaki's administration would engage in candid negotiations. Okay. And you would see how we signed the back-to-work agreements, and we proceeded. Okay. And it's unfortunate, it is a sad situation about the Jubilee that it engaged in busting unions. And what Jubilee has been doing is to bring strikes completely to an end. And they started with KNUT, then they came to the medical unions by switching off union dues, something that has never been done. If you switch off union dues, it means you've denied the workers the right to belong to a union. Okay. And that is an affront to Article 41. And it amounts to taking away the right and the freedom to join and participate in activities of a union. And that is what the next president should do. The next president should allow unions
to operate freely as provided for in the constitutions and the law, and allow unions to be engaged in policy dialogue candidly, freely, through the framework of social dialogue.
That's what you wish for, because you haven't served in the union. Yet you have compared what President Kibaki did and what the Jubilee government has done. One of the members of the top Jubilee government, incidentally, can be president of this country, and he is part of the government that has done this to the teachers, and you're supporting them.
No, it is possible. It is possible, and that should. Kibaki was also in other governments in the past. He was in KNUT government. He was the vice president of the republic, but he stood and told us what he wanted to do. So even those aspiring to be presidents, whether they're in Jubilee or in other political parties, they will have to tell us what they intend to do. And that goes to the various manifestos. One of the biggest problems we have seen within the Jubilee administration is busting of unions. This should not happen. And so we are calling on, because none of the presidential candidates has really unveiled. They have not unveiled in details.
But you know what they believe in?
In details.
I believe, yes, I believe you know what. Did you have that discussion?
But of course.
Did you have that discussion? Because one thing that gives you the seat on the table of the hustlers is the fact that you are a leader in this country. Is it something that you mentioned for the deputy president? And what did he say about it, for example, strengthening the unions?
And let me tell you, once an organization, once a political party of that magnitude and of that stature and with the highest countrywide, with a high countrywide support, has talked about bottom-up economic model. And that bottom-up is really one of the foremost models that trade union supports in the entire world. Then it means
it's within
they have
the agenda.
customized.
Okay.
So political parties are free to customize.
Okay.
And then
but have you spoken? Did you raise it with them? Did you tell him, you know, Bwana DP, when I was at the union, you guys really frustrated us. What are you going to do for the union? Did you have that discussion? Because I think it should come up tops.
Let me tell you, my engagements in terms of these matters and in terms of negotiations are very deep.
Okay.
And they're very deep and very concrete. And let me tell you, as we sit here, teachers are writhing in pain and suffering.
Exactly. Because of what Jubilee government did to them.
Yes.
Did you raise it with the deputy president and just tell him you did us wrong?
Yes.
Or you did.
And
what did he say?
Let me tell you, our politics has evolved so much, and
what did he say, Chairman?
Lots of conversation.
What did he say when you told him you really frustrated us? What did he say?
Once you see me where I am, no things are good.
No. What did he say? It can't be a secret. It can't be a secret. You're no longer in the trade union. What did he say?
The next dispensation.
Yes.
The workers' rights shall be preserved and upheld. Democracy and human rights shall be promoted. That is all we need.
All right.
That is a commitment
I'm going to play the video of the week. This is also important because you're going to be an elected leader right now. You're going to be a candidate. So our video of the week is very relevant. This is something that might excite you a little bit. Let's watch, then we come back for the final comments.
In any case, ladies and gentlemen, if you just hang around and don't register, you are useless. No, true. You can't be useful. You can't be any use because you are not participating in the development of Kenya. And if you are hanging around just eating, I mean, surely you can't be very meaningful or useful at all.
A leader who wants to be elected would like to hear that there are so many registered members of that voting bloc for them.
No, I don't think that is the issue. I don't think that is the issue. I think as Kenya, let us change the narrative.
Okay.
And as I started, we said in Vision 2030, let us transform our politics. And those of us who have traveled all over the world, our democracy in Kenya has developed so much. It has made tremendous progress. And the best thing that we can do moving forward is to ensure that every Kenyan votes. It is important because they are taking decisions. The political parties are coming up with manifestos. It is a menu. And when a president is elected on that manifesto becomes government policy. It's what is going to be implemented. And I stated, for example, when we were electing Kibaki, and we agitated and we said, yes, we are voting out KNUT, and we are voting in Kibaki. We were voting in Kibaki on the basis of his manifesto, not because he was Kibaki. And in his manifesto, he had packaged so much, like one, free education, and revamping the economy and collecting revenue. That is what Kenyans voted for.
And he left a good country in terms of the economy.
Yes. And he left a good country.
Okay.
And when we voted in 2002, Kenyans were considered the most optimistic.
Okay.
And so what is wrong if we are campaigning, we are campaigning, and if every
leader do you think that will happen in 2022, 20 years later?
Every leader campaigns and encourages voters to come out and vote.
Do you think it will happen 20 years later, 2022?
It must happen. If we must promote our democracy.
Okay.
We must promote our democracy that we've nurtured over time, and that which we've made it even far much better through the Constitution of Kenya 2010 and all other government policies like Vision 2030. And I would urge Kenyans here, those who have not registered, register as a voter. And don't just register as a voter.
Vote.
Know why you are voting.
Okay.
Vote a president who will defend your rights, a president who will deliver on your very, very interest, and a president who will ensure that the economic agenda of this country is transformed to the best interest of every common man. And in fact, as I said earlier on, the elections of 2022 will be very much about fixing the economy of this country. And then so, if there are Kenyans who will not vote, they will be doing a disservice to the country. It is important you get your voter's card and try to understand why you're voting. If you go to democracies like the US and UK, the ordinary voters take elections very seriously. They mobilize. And they push their agenda and they cast their votes. So Kenyans must cast their votes. That is the only opportunity for them to exercise their sovereign power by electing their president and the other leaders. It is important.
Thank you, SG. And I still call you SG. Above all, we are friends. And as a lawyer, I will always defend your right to do whatever you wish in this country. Looking at Article 38, whatever you want, wherever you want to go, I'll defend your right to go to whatever political party.
No Kenyan, and I wish to say, no Kenyan will be on trial for taking a political position.
And it should never happen in a democracy.
It should never happen. And nobody should be punished. And that is the type of politics we want to develop, because there is life after the general elections. We will all be in this country. We don't know about tomorrow. And all political parties will need each other. All political leaders will need each other. It is only Kenyans who will have an opportunity to elect the leaders.
They want.
And so let us have the most peaceful election, issue-based election, peaceful election.
Don't conclude this. I still want to have you on the show. You know, you are concluding like you're doing your last show with
I'm not concluding.
Because I'm
concluding because we are beginning to prepare for elections for 2022.
We have to end this.
So we must begin discussing now. We must prepare ourselves. And people should not be hypocrites. Don't hide. Come out
and say what you support.
Tell ourselves where we will be.
Just read the Constitution. Thank you, SG, for coming. Wilson Sossion, ODM nominated Member of Parliament, speaking to me tonight. And I want to thank you for coming. And as I always say, we have to have this conversation, because the day we stop having the conversations, then something else takes shape. So thank you for coming, and thank you for watching NewsHour. Tomorrow is Crossfire Thursday, and Akisa Wandera will have a panel for you discussing national issues. Of course, we will keep dissecting these issues, plus the developing stories that we are following up for you, that tragic death of Tirop, and of course, there's KP from Jogorod. We keep those stories in the loop, and we'll be informing you. Thanks for watching. Damian Evans, our sign language interpreter tonight, and on behalf of the crew, have a good night, and God bless. Thank you, SG, for coming.
Thank you.